Hey everybody, JimmE with the Th Collective here, and I'm ready to bring you The Acolyte Season 1, Episode 6, Teach/Corrupt. I know a lot of people, there's been a lot of discourse about the show, people calling it a mixed bag or whatever. I mean, I don't know, I've just kind of liked everything that we've gotten so far. Episode 5 was absolutely, excuse me, absolutely insane. We lost so many people there on Kofar. You know, a lot of reveals and everything with Kumar as being the stranger and everything. And then, of course, the switcheroo of May and Osha. That was like absolutely like crazy to see. So that's where episode 6 opens. It opens in a cave. We see Osha kind of waking up, and it's in Kimir's cave. She walks around, she smells the water, then takes a drink of it. Then she sees this little, like, duck with an elephant nose kind of little creature and stuff. Adorable little animal. Sees it and then kind of leads her, like, basically out of the cave. As she's walking out of the cave, she finds like May's bag and puts on May's clothes and then leaves the cave. And she's on, if not an island, a coast. Very, very clearly, like there's just beach up and down either way. There's like a small little land bridge that's over by like the ship that brought them there. You can probably either swim there or just take that bridge, probably depending on the tide. But yeah, then we see that it's this island. We get this big pull out from it, and bam, we get our title sequence. This is great. Again, I've been loving it. We cut back to Osha and Kimir again, and we're on the unknown planet. It even says there on the title card, unknown planet. We do see, like I said, that ship on the small landing pad. We see Osha seeing like the family of those little animals, which was pretty adorable. And then Kimir's walking just the opposite way. And so Osha decides that she's going to kind of like sneak around and follow him. Like, this is just like kind of funny. But yeah, so she goes after Kimir, and then we cut back to Kofar. So we have Sol and May. They're getting ready to leave. They're on the ship. Sol is trying to call to Coruscant. May is having audio flashbacks similar to what Osha had, like when she was looking at the fire and stuff, like the audio flashbacks of but for May this time, having the audio flashbacks of her Jedi test with Indara and Sol. Then May hears Sol call for Vernestra. We got Basil looking around, still sniffing and like grunting. May meets up with Sol in the cockpit, has a dagger pulled, and Sol doesn't like attack her or something, which is what I'm assuming that May thought was going to happen. Or May was just going to try and kill Sol, which is totally plausible as well. But doesn't when Sol asks if she can reset the transceiver. So she goes and does that. Sol says he's got to reset the transceiver. So he goes and does that. May drives. And like Sol is very frustrated once he gets down there. Like, you can tell this is all like eating him. And it's such a great performance. I love it. It's so good. And so he's like throwing his hands down. He's like looking around, and then he shuts down the receiver, turns it back on. Basil finally finds like a Pip droid like plug-in, and like Basil and Pip start talking about what's going on and everything. Cut back to the unknown planet. Kimir gets into a pool, like just a wading pool there or whatever, and he's kind of like swimming around and whatnot. Osha has one of May's daggers, because it's May's clothes and stuff there, and is moving between the rocks, getting ready. She sees that Kimir left his lightsaber there, and of course, she picks it up and Camille, knowing that she's been following him the entire time, like was not was not like surprised by any of this in any way, shape, or form. Asks, "How does it feel holding a lightsaber again?" She's like, "It feels good." Or he's like, "Feels good, doesn't it?" Holding it again, I assume when you left, you didn't keep your old one. And he's like, and then he starts grading her, or not critiquing her, not grading her, critiquing her on like her. She's like, "You got good stance. Keep that elbow up for better blocking," which we already know in this show, like through her and May, like always playing and messing around and stuff, that she's really not good at blocking or anything like that. So maybe that's been the issue. Nobody caught her hanging an elbow. And then she like is like, "Stay where you are," he's and Gamir's just like, "Well, if you're not gonna join me, I would like to put my clothes back on." And this is very funny. He's so good. He's been really great. The only thing I didn't like about the Camille reveal is that they like really like telegraphed it. Kind of wish there would have been like a little bit more mystery or intrigue there. But other than that, the dude's killing it. I believe his name is Manny. He's crushing it. Is giving a lights out performance in this show. I love it. And it is also kind of weird having to see all of the Sith people like shirtless, since like Kylo Ren and stuff. It's a weird thing that you just happen to notice now. But whatever. And so he's critiquing her, and then he starts, it's like, "You're wondering if it's honorable to kill me now. Heat of battle, of course, there's no question, like, killing your opponent or whatever in the heat of battle, that's one thing. But here, him getting out of a waiting pool, you taking his lightsaber and stuff, doesn't know. A few hours later, is that vengeance then? Are you taking revenge?" And and I just love this whole thing, because then he's like, "Now you're probably wondering how I can read your mind." He's like, "I can't, but anger betrays your thoughts." Love this. I love these common sayings that we continue to hear throughout Star Wars, especially heavily into the Jedi, or like someone learning about the Jedi, whether they're training themselves or they're just trying to understand like maybe something about a villain, like a Sith or something that they're facing, whatever it is. I love always rehearing these classic lines and stuff like coming through and everything. And she's like, "Why did you bring me here? Like, why am I? Why'd you bring me here? Am I like supposed to be your prisoner?" And he's like, "You're the one with the lightsaber." She asks if he killed Soul. "No." "Did you kill my sister?" "No." "Interesting that you asked for him first, though." Soul must have taught you the Jedi arts, right? He's more than that to you. There's a special relationship there, master and pupil. We cut back to the orbit of Kofar. And up there, we've got Soul and May docking with their hyperdrive ship. Soul hugs May, who he is still assuming is Osha. "You saved us. You saved me. He corrupted your sister. Pushed me to a place that I'm sorry." He's like, "It'll take time to make things right, but I will, and I will face the High Council, tell them everything." And then she's like, "Everything?" And we get this broken transmission kind of coming in, and May is sent to go, like, again, continue to try and fix the transceivers and stuff. When we get back to excuse me. When we get back to now we cut back to Coruscant for the first time, and Vern and Chewant are talking. There is a Rayan or the Rayan court is asking for an external review of the Jedi. Shouldn't worry about it. the Jedi's always been transparent with the Senate, which we know is not true currently. And basically, Chuan's just like, this is more of an ambitious senator, like trying to grasp for some power and stuff. The call ends, and Master Morg enters. He says that they got a distress call from Sol. What was about? What happened? He was on a mission. Casualties. Okay, who were the casualties? From it, the entire team. And Vern's like, get Sol back on to the comms and prepare a rescue team to go to Kofar. And Mog's like, how do you know like where he is? And Vern's like, because I sent him there. So now we're back to Kamir's unknown planet with Osha, and Osha's like, speak like you were a Jedi, you know. And he says, I was a long time ago. It's like, I never heard of you, you know, like I was there like 16 years ago. So, and then he's like, a really long time ago. Which is great. And still wondering, like, why'd you bring me here? And he's like, why do you think? She's like, leverage. She's like, leverage. It's like, yeah, everyone does seem to want you. That's definitely true. And so she's like, what are you gonna do? Just keep me here? You know, Sol's gonna come and find you. You know, he's found me before. You know, and you know, he's strong in the Force. And Kamir's like, no. That is your strength in the Force. And she's like, what? No, that's like totally his strength. And he's like, no, you think that's his? No. That's absolutely yours. You know, someone ought to teach you that. Ah, man. The slight deceitfulness of trying to, you know, tempt, you know, bringing Osha over to like his side to like train and stuff with her. It's interesting. It's interesting to get this here, and how he's saying all of this. It's very manipulative, but subtly, you know, like he's not going straight out there. But he does show her, you know, he does point to the ship, and he's like, hey, if you want to leave, you can swim now, you know. You can probably make it out before sundown, or you can wait for the tide to go out and then, you know, cross that land bridge, which is currently underwater due to the high tide. And Osha is confused but intrigued, and he asks, are you hungry? We cut back to the Jedi ship, Sol's ship. May is still goes to fix it, but Basil set a trap for her, attacks her and runs away, and then Pip sprays May with a like an oil or something, and May then resets the Pip droid. So that's really upsetting, because that Pip droid was, you know, Osha's. They had a lot of things happening and whatnot, and going through some things. So yeah, that was that sucked to see. So May then gets her body, gets a new body. Sorry, not her body. Gets a new body for the Pip droid that she just reset. Puts it together and starts running a check on the power systems. We are now back into the cave of the unknown planet. In the cave of the unknown planet, you know, we see like the animals. Kamir and Osha enter the cave, and she's like, what did you mean exactly my strength in the Force was that? You know, and he's like, well, if you were a Jedi, something, you know, it's something you must exercise. Like, without training, it fades. And he's like, or that's what they told you. And Kamir's just like, you know, that's the Jedi teach one way to access the Force. And she's like, you don't do it their way. And it's like, or he's like, if you don't do it their way, you know, they say it fades. But he's like, but there is another way. You know, below consciousness are powerful emotions: anger, fear, loss, despair, path to the dark side. And, Osha's like, path to the dark side. And Kamir's like, it's all semantics. That's semantics there. And he's like, you murdered my friends, killed Jedi. And he's like, I killed those who threatened my existence. And he's like, and Osha's like, you killed Yord. And he's like, or Osha's like, you killed Yord. He's like, a man who didn't even hesitate to turn you in for a crime you didn't even commit. You killed Jackie. And then he's like, oh, where'd you think that was gonna go? It ended up having the same relationship with her that you do with your master. One-sided. Just completely one-sided. And Kamir asks a really great question here. Why do you love people who can only go so far? Who can't go as deep as you can? And I was just like, I'm not my sister. I'm not that easily corrupted, on this. And Osha walks out of the cave, followed by Kamir. Aren't you forgetting something? You stayed here to do something. Well, do it. And turn it on. And Kamir has Osha holding Kamir's lightsaber to his chest. Like, great. I love it. Like, this is so fun. I love it. And then she's like, Jedi doesn't attack the unarmed. And he's like, why do you still think yourself a Jedi? They didn't want you. She's like, not true. I left. And he's like, why? I chose to. Are you sure about that? And then it's like a little like, let me go. And Kamir's like, see, that feeling right now, this anger, this pain, this is who you are. The Jedi saw it. That's why they threw you away. They didn't throw me away. Osha strikes back. And Kamir, then why aren't you? Asks, why aren't you a Jedi? Why aren't you a Jedi, Osha? And yelling back, because I failed. Takes the lightsaber and ignites it. Pushes Kamir up against the rocks. Has the lightsaber right near his throat and everything. Kamir is like, I understand. I lost everything, Osha. But when you lose everything, puts his hand on her arm, that's when you finally are free. And she backs off and closes down the lightsaber. This is such a great little this was so great here, that little exchange right there. And I really wonder now if Osha's really going to turn and stuff. It'll be crazy. It'll be crazy to see. It'll be awesome to see. I can't wait. It'll be great. So then we cut back to Coruscant, and Mog, still hasn't heard from Sol. They're ready to depart in 20 minutes, and he's asking Vern. He's like, "Whoa, don't you get a little motion sickness, hyper sickness when you travel?" She's like, "I don't get sick. I just find it unsettling." It's like, okay, lady, okay. And she's like, "I need to handle this personally. Hope it's all right with you." We cut back to the Kofar orbit Jedi ship, and Basil is going through the floors now, trying to get around the ship. May sees him. Sol calls out to Osha, to restart the system, Sol calls out to Osha, and then she comes into the cockpit and she's like, "Restart the system. Should be good to go in 5 minutes or so." And Sol's like, finally, how could I not sense that villain's true intentions on Olega? And May is like, well, sometimes when you really want something, it can cloud your mind. You see what you want to see. Fooled us all. And then Soul's like, oh, you found him. You're Pip Droid, you know? Notice the way you take care of him. Talk to him. Love him. Even though he's just a machine. Always, and, you know, you've always been like that. Even when you were little. And she's like, I know. So May then is like, well, you know, like, I had to lose a lot of myself to become a Jedi. Even if I didn't know it at the time. And so it's like, I'm sorry if it felt that way, you know. And May's like, how could it feel any other way, you know? Have you told me everything that happened on Brendock? And then Soul's like, you know, you were really young. And she's like, I'm not young now. You can tell me, you know. And then the lights on the ship start turning on, and then May walks away. May is in the cockpit and begins to call out, or try and make a call out. Soul hits her with a stun blaster, because Basil shows up right behind Soul as Soul moves to go grab May. And the rescue team, we hear a rescue team is on the way, and Soul's just like, oh, May. Cut back to Kofar. Mog is talking with the locals. An Umbra Moth hatched, you know, like nest hatched, wreaked havoc on some locals. That could explain the casualties. And then they head into the forest. Cut back to the unknown cave. Kamir is working on his helmet. Osha is eating. And she asks, did you use that same pitch on my sister? And he's like, I made a mistake with May. Thought she wanted more than revenge. Thought she wanted what I want. And Osha's like, what do you want? You know, the power of two is what Kamir says. Kamir wipes his face with his shirt, revealing a scar kind of up his back a little bit. Even more so than like what we saw like when he was walking in the distance. I mean, when he was unrobing and stuff, you kind of saw something there, but it wasn't like super prevalent. But like right here, you really see it, and it's like, yeah, it's a wicked scar near the lower portion of his back, you know, going on up. But Osha does asks, like, how'd you get those scars? And he's like, how do you think I got it? And she's like, it looks like somebody stabbed you in the back. And he's like, someone who threw me away. And Osha's like, your Jedi Master? There's a long stare. No real answers given. But the real answer is yes. That's the implication here then of what Kamir is trying to say. Kamir knocks on the helmet. You know, it does a toot toot toot. Cortosis. Handy against lightsabers. Sensory deprivation headpiece. Used on same things that are used on younglings. Blocks out all of your senses. Just you and the Force. And what you bring with you, obviously. And she's like, I don't trust you. It's like, nor should you. But you should learn to trust yourself. Osha is just staring at the helmet, you know, just looking at it, just lying there. We cut back to Kofar. We're back there. Vernestra and her team see the aftermath. The Force, you know, she starts Force echoing like the events there, like hearing everything. Maud confirms there's no sign of sister of Osha or May. They must have survived somehow, you know, and they're asking what could have happened here. And Vernestra's like, what do you see to Maud? It's like an explosion, then a battle, one versus many, extraordinary power, skills, erratic. Camera is slowly moving in on Vernestra here. And, you know, the Maud kind of implies that this might have been Soul to aim no survivors. Vernestra, without even thinking really hard, here's an Umbra Moth, kills it with her lightsaber whip. And, you know, so she's like, you know, they were all killed with a lightsaber. So what does that tell you? You know, again, a powerful Jedi has fallen. You know, and you don't think that? And then Vernestra's like, that's quite an accusation. You know, and he's like, well, who else has the power to slay the whole group? Vernestra then is like, something to tip the scales. This is why, you know, they're like, this is why, you know, they sent the dispatch signal. It's time to get back onto the ship. We got to prepare the bodies for burial. After this whole thing with Vernestra, I think she was Kamir's old Jedi Master. I think she turned on him because she probably felt like a similar thing with Luke to Kylo, felt that like evil darkness in him, and just felt that they couldn't stop it. Or there could have been an event that that happened with Kamir here, that he made a bad, sketchy choice that you know Vernestra thought to do the absolute most extreme thing. Either way, it's going to be wild to see. Can't wait. We get back to Soul's ship. We're on there. You know, May wakes up. She's, you know, bind to the like a medical bed. It's like, I have no intention of harming you, May. She's like, well, why don't you just let me go? He's like, I will. You know, like, but believe me, I will. But we have a lot to talk about. You know, like, we have to find your master, save Osha. You know, but first, we are going to talk. I've had 16 years to think about what I want to say to you if I ever got the opportunity, and you were going to listen. This was great. This was awesome. Then we get the we're cutting back to the unknown planet. We're in the cave. Osha is approaching the helmet now. As we saw from the last time, she was just staring at it when we last saw her. She picks it up, examines it, looks inside and whatnot, looks at the scars around it. It reminds me of like Kylo Ren's mask and like other Knights of Ren's shots. I feel like some of those other masks had like scars and scrapes. Now that could have just been added for like battle damage or whatever, and not actually like maybe like that Sith way, but it really felt like that. It really felt like a couple of parallels there. So then Osha puts on the helmet, and you know, we hear her breathing, sounding like very much so like Darth Vader, and like inside like his suit and stuff. And then we get a cut from her outside just sitting there, which is pretty cool to see. Cut back inside, breathing, and then it seems like eyes are closing, and then that's the end of the episode. And I've got to say, episode 6 was awesome. This whole series has been a lot of fun. I really like it. I really have been enjoying it. I really don't understand why people haven't enjoyed it so far. I know people have talked about like dialogue or things like that. I mean, I don't know what you want. Like, it's Star Wars, and it's supposed to be funny and wacky sometimes, and like, I don't know. I just really like it. This has been fun. I can't wait to see how they land the plane. We've got 2 episodes left. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I am JimmE with the Th Collective. I want to thank you all for joining me. Hope you all stay safe. Please like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. And as always, may the Force be with you.